All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking real music in real time for a few real people out there just like you, just like me. All right, before I get going into this Motley Crue, Mick Mars elder abuse thing, seriously, there are allegations of elder abuse, which apparently is going to be part of that lawsuit that has been filed. Motley Crue going the route of Journey here. And Motley Crue, folks. Mick Mars is saying these guys aren't really playing their stuff out there. The drum track is recorded. Uh, Vince Neil's got to be getting some help on lead vocals. I'm sorry, he has to be, and the rest of it too might just be, tracks. And people want to go hear a band, and they get the tracks piped in, and they're having a good time, and there's a lot of debauchery going on. And Mick Mars kind of seemed like one of the cool guys. Anyway, before I get going with that, to more detail there, Thomas Lassar, Lassar. I don't have physical product to show you, which is a bummer, because the album came out and I found out I couldn't get it from the record label because they can't do it anymore. There's all kinds of restrictions to ship something from where they are to where I am, and there's a good chance I wouldn't get it, and the postage is ridiculous. So this is the world we live in. I'm probably going to buy a copy over on Amazon. His new album is called From Now On. It's really good. It's very up-tempo. It's also very AOR and a lot of Toto-ish 80s musical attributes to it. So again, Thomas Lassar, Lassar. Go look it up and see what you think of it. Anyway, let's get back to the Motley Crue situation. The Crue in the studio? What? All right, this is the other breaking news item. Why is Vince Neil back in the studio with Bob Rock of all people? So Bob Rock is producing a new Motley Crue album. That's just bizarre to me. It just look, I know you can do a lot in the studio, and Bob Rock is a really great producer. I just never thought these guys would record. Maybe that's why they got rid of Mick Mars, because he's like, hey, we can't record. And these guys are now making music. I'm wondering where they're getting these songs, if the band has written the songs. But, Vince Neil, this is his first tweet or whatever since the whole Mick Mars situation got going. And he just says, great to be back in the studio with Bob Rock and the boys. That's it. That's all. They're just moving on. They don't really care. The band seems determined to forge ahead. It's a new chapter in the band's history. Despite the ongoing legal battle, Motley Crue is moving forward with plans to create new music. Six took to social media to confirm that the band is in the studio with John 5. Yeah, John 5 is good. I'm not going to throw shade at John 5 because he's really good. And Tommy Lee's Instagram post featured himself, Six, and John 5, which reaffirms the band's commitment to continue working together. However, fans have expressed mixed feelings about the new Crue, as some believe the essence of Motley Crue lies in the original members, and creating music without Mars would not indeed be the same. Now, if you remember, Mick Mars said he was just retiring from the road, but now he's being retired from the entire band. Interesting. The Mick Mars feud, of course, began last October when the guitarist announced he would retire from touring due to ongoing health struggles. You know what I've noticed in the rock world is when somebody has a health struggle, the band tries very hard to replace him and get rid of him. It's just, you had John Anderson, and Yes, and people are still mad about that. They don't like the fact that I like the new song that Yes put out because they missed John Anderson. And I did too for 5 years. And then I'm just like, okay, so he's obviously not coming back to Yes. Where else? Journey with Steve Perry. That was one of the original ones. Dennis DeYoung and Styx. That was probably worse than the Mick Mars situation because Dennis wanted to come back. Mick Mars, I think he's had enough because number one, the band was faking everything, and number two, he just didn't like these people. And so I guess you could say that Tommy Shaw doesn't like Dennis DeYoung. That's got to be it. Tommy and JY. So there's a lot of similarities there. But it seems as though if you're not healthy, you might get replaced, and these people aren't going to wait for you. In the case of Mick Mars, it's not really a feud per se. It's more that Mick is just calling this out. And these guys want to make more money. I'm surprised they're recording, though. I'd just be like, you know what? Why record? I mean, Def Leppard, who they're touring with, they put out an album. It did nothing. By the way, Def Leppard is putting out another album. You had Journey put out an album. I mentioned that Yes is coming out with an album. There's just no market. And it's not because people don't want to hear it. It's because there's no real distribution support system in place. It just has gone away. And if you call out the radio industry, they just laugh at you. They don't care. They've moved on. But Motley Crue and Def Leppard, good for them. They're thinking that their hardcore fans are going to want to hear new material. Look, Vince Neil, just not the same guy. I would say Joe Elliott is closer to being his old self than obviously Vince Neil is. So I think Motley Crue gets away with it because Joe Elliott is just better. I mean, he's more intact vocally than a guy like Vince Neil, who just he sounds like he's sucking on helium at times out there. And that's supposedly, right, with maybe a vocal track underneath or in addition to. But Mick Mars and elder abuse, that's part of the lawsuit. 71 years old. They treated the old guy like dirt. It appears that they did treat him poorly. And then basically saying, hey, Mick, you're the one who's screwing up here because you're not going along with the tracks properly or something. I mean, that's what they're essentially saying about Mick Mars. And most people who followed Motley Crue, they always liked Mick Mars because he didn't call attention to himself. He was a little dark and mysterious. And I think John 5 adds a little of that same element to the band. And John 5 is a great player. I'm just wondering why. Well, we know why. I mean, it's all about the money. And good for John 5. He should get paid. And that's why he's there. I mean, it's a business decision, right? I join this brand and we go and we make some new material. I wonder what this new stuff is going to sound like. Maybe it'll be surprising. Maybe it'll be good. I mean, you've got Bob Rock there, right? But you don't have Mick Mars, who should have been in the studio with these guys, but he's been replaced. And so we shall see how this all shakes itself out. Who knows? Maybe Mick Mars will be overpowered by the legal team that Motley Crue has in place. It's a bit like the Journey situation, which of course the Journey situation has gotten even weirder, which I posted a video about yesterday, and a lot of people don't understand that video. I hate to say it, but you're probably going to have to join Patreon so I can share the link with you. That's the only way I'm going to do it. So in any event, folks, thanks for watching this video. I don't know if this is elder abuse against Mick Mars. I just think these are people that want to make money, and they've decided to move on without Mick. And Mick said, hey, I'm done touring anyway, but I'm thinking Mick would have probably gone in the studio with these guys if things were still on good terms. Don't forget to check out Thomas Lessar. His album is called From Now On. Yeah, I think he's from Sweden, pretty sure. I'm going to try to talk with Thomas at some point. I know people aren't going to care, but I'm probably going to talk to him and do a little interview because I enjoy his style and I just want to chat. Maybe we'll get a couple of albums sold out the door, mostly in Europe and Japan and so forth, and probably zero here in the United States, but that's okay. We just keep on keeping on. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I will, of course, see you soon.